I certainly ain't the biggest Baltimore Ravens homer that there is, because I don't feel like every single move that they make is right, and I don't feel like every single move that they make is wrong. I feel they do a lot of stuff correctly, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff that they could improve on as well. But overall, they do a pretty good job overall. They could fine-tune some things in some areas, but we've talked about that over the years, and we will continue to talk about that over the years when the Ravens don't show improvement in their areas. But anyway, this move is one that I feel like, why are people complaining over it? I'm really, really confused about that, because I don't understand at all. But we're going to talk about it shortly. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on so you can stay up to date with everything going down with the Baltimore Ravens, and leave a like on the video because it helps out the channel a ton. Pat Ricard, he is back in the building. The Baltimore Ravens, they signed him. How many Pro Bowls he done went to? Like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 41 of them. I don't know, maybe 42, the same as his number. It seemed like he goes to the Pro Bowl every single year. So that helps Patrick Ricard in his pockets. But anyway, Pat Ricard is back with the Ravens on a 1-year deal, fully guaranteed 1-year deal. But I've been seeing people complain about it. So first I was thinking, okay, when I first saw people complain, is it the money? Are they complaining about the money that he's making? And Jeff Dribbick said the following, said, Ravens are signing Pat Ricard to the same type of 5-year qualifying offer deal that linebacker Malik Harrison signed last year, who is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. Will Pat Ricard follow in those footsteps the following year? Anyway, he said it will be in the $2.9 million range. So Pat Ricard getting around a little less than $3 million, okay? But what's the cap hit? The cap hit is just under $1.44 million. So he's not commanding a lot of money. So what could the complaints be over? Well, I've seen people say, since the Baltimore Ravens are bringing back Pat Ricard, it means that the offensive line is still going to be bad. Now, Pat Ricard, he was used as an extra offensive lineman sometimes, but those two things do not have to mean that just because they bring in Pat Ricard back, it does not mean that they cannot and they will not invest in the offensive line. Obviously, they brought back Ronnie Stanley, so that's great. They got Tyler Linderbaum. They still got Roger Rosengarten. Now, Daniel Falele, it's tricky there. At left guard, will it be Andrew Voorhees? Will it be somebody else? The Ravens will have options. So they could draft somebody early on. They could sign a veteran. They got different things that they can do there. But bringing Pat Ricard back, it's not a bad thing at all, because what it tells me, in my opinion, if you're complaining about Pat Ricard being re-signed, then you must not like Derrick Henry at all. You must not be a Derrick Henry fan. You must be like, forget Derrick Henry and them 1,900 rushing yards. Pat Ricard was a huge part of that. You know how many times we done seen, like, we jumping up and down for Derrick Henry breaking a long run. We like, yeah, go Derrick Henry. We see that 22 running down the field with that Ravens helmet on. It's like, oh, let's get it, baby. But at the beginning of the play, we see Linderbaum snap the ball to Lamar, and Lamar hand that ball off to Derrick Henry. But while that's happening, the offensive line is creating holes, and Pat Ricard, he was a big part of that. He's knocking people on their backsides. So bringing Pat Ricard back, it's not a bad thing at all. Pat Ricard, whether you want to admit it, Pat Ricard is a game changer, man, because he impacts the Baltimore Ravens offense, especially the run game, in a major way. This is only a good thing. And then, like Pat Ricard, he good for like 1 or 2 touchdown catches every season. Because especially they on the goal line, Lamar will fake it to the running back, Pat Ricard run out to the flats, Lamar do a play action, keep it, hit Pat Ricard wide open, boom, touchdown. So Pat Ricard impacts the Baltimore Ravens in several positive ways. Now, I will tell y'all, gotta always keep it real with y'all all the time. When I saw that Kyle Juszczyk got released, I said, oh, that boy Juice, ooh, because I always felt like Kyle Juszczyk, he would fit in perfectly with this Baltimore Ravens offense. Because while he's a fullback, he was sort of like an H-back, a tight end. He could do all these different things. The catching is amazing. He's nice, man. He would fit in with this offense so smoothly. But Pat Ricard, I feel like, is more just punishing than Kyle Juszczyk. Kyle Juszczyk is not bad at all. So if the Ravens were to have gotten him, would not be no complaints at all. but I feel Pat Ricard is just more of a bruiser. Kyle Juice, he's more finesse, just a little more finesse in my opinion, and Ricard is more that thumper like that. But again, this is a good move, and it's only a good thing for the Baltimore Ravens, and it has minimal salary cap implications. So this is a plus for me. Now we reach my favorite part of the videos where we get to feature your questions. Let's get straight into it. First question came from my guy Gus. He said, what's going on, Ingraven? Hope you are doing well. And let's waste no time and get to these questions for you, my man. All right, let's get it. He said, number one, since the Niners are open to trading Brandon Ayuk, do you think our Ravens could trade maybe a third or fourth and Tylan Wallace? Well, no, because Tylan Wallace is a free agent and Brandon Ayuk is on a monster contract, and I do not see the Ravens taking that contract on, so I would say no. He said, I also heard Ayuk used to play corner, so maybe he could replace another Brandon that we know. Probably be better at turning his head around to make a darn play. All right. Let's go. Come on. Why you got to do Brandon Stevens like that? He also said there's a few guys that we got to re-sign, like Ronnie Stanley. Okay, that won't happen. But let's think about a few others. People with these questions I'm about to ask. Hey, Kyle Hamilton, would you want to throw up a ballpark guess at what they decide to extend him for money-wise? I'm going to say $45 million. Oh, my goodness. It's getting close to that because who just got, was it Myles Garrett? And he was getting paid like $40 million per year. So the numbers are going up. They going crazy. And you know Kyle Hamilton, he missed to do it all. That's super duper Kyle. So he's going to get a super duper number too. He said, Lamar got great chemistry. I'd love to see him finish off his seasons with our Baltimore Ravens. How do you feel? A long veteran deal that could have him set? Let me know. I wouldn't be mad if they let him go. And they upgraded that wide receiver 3 position. Nelly wasn't bad at all. But they could use an upgrade there. Because now the thing with Lamar that I appreciated, Lamar, he showed that, hey, I can have chemistry with anybody. I can develop chemistry like that now. I could develop rapport just boom like that. Because we saw it with Anthony Miller. We saw it with him. And Anthony Miller been on a team way less of a time than Nelson Aguilar. So bringing in somebody else, it certainly wouldn't hurt. He says, finally, we got to extend that boy ADW, or Darius Washington. He's a physical hyper safety that can be all right in coverage and bang on running backs. Just ask Joe Mixon. With Baltimore potentially looking at safety for their first round pick, which I'd like to see them pick up, Nick Emanwari, they could extend him to a 2 or 3 year deal, maybe 2025 M's. Ooh. Now, I don't know about that one. Now, we did that video earlier about Darius Washington. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to know exactly what the Baltimore Ravens are doing with him by 4 p.m. tomorrow. He said, if Nick falls to us, that would be nuts. What do you think about Nick Emanwari? I'm still so behind on looking at draft prospects. He said, Ashton Genty, cool, no thanks. You know how I feel about Brandon Stevens, LOL. Well, yeah, now he's gone, so you got what you wanted. He said, hope you and the family team keep it clean, all doing well. Also, just wanted to let you know that being able to be in such a great community has changed my life for the better. I love y'all. Y'all saved my life, man. Now, like Brandon Bradbury is soon to be. Don't call that man Brandon Bradbury. Well, and now, but by the time you're seeing this video, he is, because he's with the New York Jets. He said, I'm out. And he said, I also know you will be watching a little bit of WWE, so yeet. Next question came from my guy, All Flow. He said, hey, Ingraven, this is Ronald, and sorry for the long question. No apologies necessary, my friend. Ask away. He said, I just wanted to say I love your videos and everything that you do for the Ravens community and just for the football world. No, I appreciate that, man. And I appreciate y'all. I don't do nothing crazy. These, like I say, in every video, my favorite part of videos is y'all's questions. So it's really y'all doing everything for Ravens community. So y'all need to accept your flowers. Anyway, he said, my question was about the linebacker position, which I feel as though it hasn't been talked about enough. That's true. He said, yes, we have one of the best linebackers in Roquan Smith, but maybe it was just me, but it felt like his play was a little down from last year. But not only that, they would switch Trenton and Harrison so many times it was so confusing. The Ravens either don't trust Trenton yet, boom, you nailed it. That's it, straight up, because he ended up getting benched. He said, they have Harrison getting blown by speedy tight ends, or they'll have him covering a running back, which he has no business on covering. Now, this isn't to hate on Harrison. I feel like he's a great run defender, and he's solid on the edge, but putting him in the middle gets us torched. The amount of times I see a ball going towards the middle and it being caught, and then having another 5 to 10 yards was so infuriating. So do you think we should be looking for a linebacker in the draft? That's a really, really good question, a really, really good point. And yes, Ravens got to find an upgraded linebacker, because Malik Harrison, now Pittsburgh Steelers. Chris Board, now I believe he signed with the Giants. So it's just Roquan and Trent Simpson, and that's it. That's it. So the Ravens, they have no choice but to find some more linebackers, whether it be free agency with a veteran or it be through the draft. Actually, they probably do a little bit of both. We don't need to trade for no big money wide receiver. Next question came from my guy, Chai. He said, what's good? My name is Chai, Ravens flock rep from Rochester, New York. Been following you for a minute. Hey, appreciate you, my friend. He said, first time writer here, though. Just want to say, man, the hate or the unbelievable disrespect of some fans on Andrews is ridiculous. Are we really acting like he's not a top 3 tight end in the league? We want to trade a for sure reliable weapon for Lamar, who's still under contract, along with Bateman and Flowers, then likely who is, and to answer what you said about not having that big body wide receiver. Likely is a tight end, yes, but he lines up as a hybrid tight end / wide receiver. You know we love guys that like that, and he's definitely capable of being that Swiss Army knife for us. He is. He is. I would still like if the Ravens were to get a receiver like that too. And you add that to the mix of what you got without having to take away anything from anybody. Anyway, he said, our group of pass catchers are set. If anything, so you including Mark Andrews, obviously. And I get it. Mark Andrews, he nice. He nice. Mark Andrews is a baller. I get with the playoffs, we've seen some stuff and whatnot. It ain't been the prettiest. But that's why it's such a tricky situation, man. Because he's still, Mark Andrews is one of them guys, man. Mark Andrews could ball. Regular season Mark Andrews, he be doing his thing. He be going crazy with it, man. And he is super reliable. Him and Lamar got that chemistry, man. They got it. But we'll see what happens with him very soon. Anyway, he said, our group of pass catchers are set. If anything, another backup at running back or if we do go for a wide receiver, a cheap vet like signing, well, Devontae Adams is gone. He said D-Hop, okay, that's still an option. Or Cooper Kupp would be nice. Darius Slayton, well, he'd stay with the Giants or bring back DeMarcus Robinson. That works too. Honestly, I think pass rush, offensive line, secondary should be the priority. Also, the Vault podcast did a segment about the Ravens spending. Hopefully, the link works, but they answered the making a big splash narrative that EDC and company don't do. And then he put the link to that video. He said, sorry, this is long, LOL. I got a lot to say. I should start my own channel. Hey, you should. Now, as far as the splash, making a big splash narrative that EDC and company don't do, it depends on the position. Oh, well, a splash is usually considered like a big outside signing. That's not really they don't really do that hardly often. When was the last splash that they made? Marcus Williams, that was one of them, and I really liked that one. It just didn't work out. I thought that was a great sign. It just didn't work out. Obviously Earl Thomas, the Odell Beckham Jr., it was like yes, because they get signed into a 1 year, $18 million deal, but it was Odell who hadn't played in like 2 years. It was a weird one. Derrick Henry was a nice move. It wasn't no splash because they ain't like have to even pay him no crazy money. That was a bargain deal, especially for Derrick Henry. Like that dude, amazing. I guess not even Ronnie Stanley because that's not an outside move. A splash. That Ravens don't really do splash moves like that. They do the moderate moves. They do because they do a lot of paying their own guys. They don't do too much of paying crazy money to outside guys, especially at the wide receiver position for sure. Anyway, he said. But one signing that I would like to see, I think Joey Bosa will be a good one. Get him on the cheap with the injury history on a 1 year prove-it deal. Well, he getting ready to go play with his brother in San Francisco. Even unless the 49ers about to cut Nick Bosa too, because they've been cutting everybody. But no, he getting ready to go play with his brother, it seems. But he said the upside on that would be dope. Healthy, he's a beast. And at 29 and producing numbers, it's a wrap. Think that's it for now, LOL. Thank you for your time and hope to see you respond to this one on your show. Hey, appreciate you, Chai. Let's get younger. Next question came from my guy, Frank. He said, what's going on, Ingraven? Hope you're a fan while doing well. As always, appreciate it, Frank. He said, what do you think about exploring the possibility of moving on from Derrick Henry? No. Right now, no. Obviously, you got to think about the future, but right now, no. There were no signs of him slowing down. Ravens didn't even use him to his max potential. They used him to some high potential, but they didn't even push him to the max. They could have used him even more. They could have used him even better. He still got 1,900 yards and like 1 million touchdowns. Anyway, he said, I know it sounds crazy, but let me cook. I don't know. Them ingredients ain't looking so good right now. Anyway, he said, Derrick Henry is a top 3 running back in the league, hands down. Yes. He's a great downhill runner and will run through anyone that comes in his path. Yes. So where we going with this? Well, let's see. He said, but why don't we try and get younger? Is it crazy to try and pursue a generational talent like Ashton Jeanty? We let go of Derrick Henry and try to trade Mark Andrews and some pieces to try to move up in the first round so we can get Ashton. No. 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 Nope. I see what you're saying, but no. If you say Ashton Jeanty dropped, even though like running back, it's not the biggest need for the Ravens. Would it be best player available? It could possibly be, but if he dropped, he's sitting there. He's a home run hitter for sure. Like, and you have Derrick Henry, and you have Ashton Jeanty, and you have Justice Hill still, and you got Keith Mitchell. That's a nice little group of running backs there. Then you still got Rasheen Ali as well. But that'd be a nice little group of running backs, and that would be your running back currently, and it could be your running back for the future as well. Because that would alleviate a lot of pressure off of the Ravens with Keith Mitchell, because we don't know what's going to happen with him in the future. We don't know how to view him. He just never could really find his footing with the Ravens last year. And I mean, they had Derrick Henry killing, they had Justice Hill killing it. So with Keith Mitchell, it was just hard for him to find a role. But so if Ashton dropped and he was BP, But you got much bigger needs than running back still, though. You really do. So drafting him, because it will be like, all right, we got Derrick Henry, we got Justice Hill. We know their roles, and their roles are significant. You're going to cram another running back into that? Then you still got Keaton Mitchell, you still got Rasheen Ali. And again, when you upgrade at a position, that just makes your depth that much better. But still, it's like Ashton Genty for the future, great. Currently, the impact that he would, and I know there are going to be some people say, oh, he would just take Justice Hill's spot. Possibly, maybe, but still, I don't know, man. But anyway, he said that's the kind of guy to run through anyone that gets in his path like Derrick, but also juke you out in the phone booth. This kid is only 21 years old and could be a guy that you would love to have as a Raven for a long time. What are your thoughts? And he said, hashtag team keep it clean for life. Appreciate it. See, when you put it like that, I ain't know he be trucking people too now. I did see some little clips of him and whatnot, but yeah, that's if he trucking people too. You make it a little tougher that way. But still, it's like with running back, it's just a position that's, again, Ravens have like a plethora of guys right now, and they couldn't even figure out how to use 3 of their top running backs. They knew how to use 2 out of the 3, but they couldn't figure out how to use the third one. So if they implemented a 4th one, then they'd be like, and using a first round pick on somebody who you don't even know how to fit into the offense like that. So it would just be like, I don't know. Anyway, he also said, this is the second question I'm sending him back to back, but I got a lot on my mind about all Ravens. He said, Lamar Jackson is going to his 8th year as a Raven. Yes, he won 2 MVPs. It should have been 3. We all know it should have been 3. But anyway, continuing, he said, and got us to the playoffs every year that he's been healthy. But is it likely that we look into the quarterback market in the draft next year if Lamar can bring us a bowl next year? I love Lamar, and I've been his biggest supporter since he came into the league. But as a Ravens fan, it is getting pretty tiring with having amazing regular seasons, hot rolling into the playoffs, and then cooling down and losing in a divisional AFC championship. Again, I love Lamar Jackson, but whenever somebody say, oh, I love Lamar, that but is on the way, and it's a big but. Anyway, he said, but I think we all would love a Super Bowl or 2 more. What do you think? Yes, we will love all the Super Bowls in the world. Now, and he's saying, should the Ravens look in the quarterback market if the Ravens don't get it done with Lamar Jackson? No, I don't think that they should. I think first, before they did that, they should look into the coaching market. If for some reason they didn't get it done this upcoming season, you will need to, in my opinion, you will need to try that first before you try to get another quarterback. Is Lamar Jackson, can he improve in the playoffs? Oh, certainly, for sure. It's really the turnovers. The turnovers got to come to a stop, a screeching halt. They're ugly, they're nasty, they make things bad. And the worst part about them is that the Ravens won't be getting blown out in these games. They'll be right there. Like the last year, they had 3 turnovers, I think, and they lost the game by 2 points, something like that. And it was like, oh, really, man? So when you think about it, if they had not turned the ball over all those times, who knows how that game would have went? But no, I don't think they should be in the market for a quarterback at all. You ready to move on from everybody? Next question came from my guy Steph'on. He said, "What's good, my brother? Thanks for all things Ravens. Praying that you and the family are well. Soaking up that beautiful Florida sun." Hey, appreciate you. Appreciate it. He said, I saw the video on OA. That would be a great trade to consider for Micah, along with Keaton and Andrews, a 1st and a 4th. Oh, my goodness. Giving up a Dafe away, Keaton Mitchell and Mark Andrews, and a 1st and a 4th for Micah Parsons. Look, Micah Parsons like that, man. He one of them guys. But to give up all, and you still got to pay him? To give up all, I don't think you got to give up all of that. Not all of that. And the 1st and the 4th for Micah. And you like now with this, you would definitely be sealing the deal for sure. You would definitely be like, hey, this is a trade that the Cowboys can't say no to like at all. I mean, they could, but all this you giving up, ooh, boy. Anyway, he said, we have 11 picks. Also, we could use a few of those to get back to the 2nd or 3rd round and get another edge in the draft. Texas A&M defensive end Nick Scarleton is a freaking monster. Also, if Inman Worry, the South Carolina safety, my guy was just talking about him a couple questions ago. He said, we also need offensive line. Boom. We're straight on offense. Develop Tez, Kolar, and Wallace with Monken. Oh, well, Wallace is a free agent. He said, with Monken back, Zay Flowers, Likely, and Bate will flourish even more. Not to mention L Boogie, the King, and Justice Hill. We got to show some love to the O-line, too. 3rd and 4th, always have good O-linemen. Looking at Rosengarten. Well, he was a 2nd-round pick. Yeah, he was a second round pick. Anyway, he said, shoo, a little long for blessings and hashtag Blackbird Bully Ball. But he also sent in another question. He said, sign him. What's good, my brother? I pray that beautiful Florida weather is shining bright on you and the fam. I just want to say, what are we doing here? We're clearing about EDC should do this and do that. I think simplicity is sexy. Go sign 2 proven dogs who are right under our noses, Amari Cooper and Joey Bosa. Oh. Let's continue. He said, but we're in awkward positions. Last year, Cooper was a Pro Bowl in 2023, and Bosa just need a rejuvenation like Kyle Vanoy. Look, if Ravens got Joey Bosa, that could be something. They could. I would have more than enough confidence in them to get him turned around. But yeah, he probably getting ready to go play with his brother. As far as Amari Cooper, he from South Florida, so yeah, you would fit in perfectly with the Ravens. Good route runner, good speed, been a number 1 before. Will be just coming to another team in the AFC North. He did his thing with the Raiders. I think he was the first round pick over there. Played with the Browns. I know he played somewhere else too, but I'm forgetting where it was. But that would be an interesting one right there. That would be one that you could get him for I think that you will be able to get him for very, very cheap. And he can be productive when he get the opportunities. Good route runner. He still got that route running in him. Once you got that route running, it really never leaves. Speed can leave, but route running, it never does. I have not thought about him at all. That'd be a solid option. It actually would be. He would a lot of Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers in him. Again, route runner. But again, when you got to deal with a bunch of route runners, then that's annoying for defenses. So that would be a solid one. It wouldn't be that sexy, but he did say simplicity is sexy. So there we go. He said, then go get Emin Warrior. Everybody talking about Emin Warrior. Everybody. Okay. He said, and an offensive lineman. Also a few other pieces. This is just my assessment. Blessings, my dude. And again, hashtag Blackbird Bully Ball. Appreciate you. Next question came from my guy Killers Win. He said, hey, I hope all is well with you and the family. Please excuse my grammatical errors. Hey, it's all good, because if you mess up typing, you must not have heard me talking in any video, because I mess up talking all the time, so you ain't got nothing to worry about, I promise you. He said, I followed the channel for many years, and this is my first time messaging. Oh, okay. Hey, appreciate that. He said, I'm actually Killers Swin, but when I put it together, it's Killers Win, and it just sounds so much better. Hey, whatever works for you, my friend. He said, I got a problem with Ravens keeping Mark Andrews. I remember that second year when they played Tennessee in the playoffs and lost. I believe Mark Andrews had a pass hit his hands in the third quarter, which he dropped in the end zone. I forgive him that time because the defense got ran on and Earl Thomas turned traitor blocked for Henry instead of tackling him. He said, last year when the Ravens were hot with Likely, I was secretly hoping that Mark Andrews would not be featured or come back for the game. To my dismay, he came back and immediately they tried to feature him instead of making him a decoy. When they turned to Likely, the offensive play calling was flat and predictable. That's true. Because, yeah, when Mark Andrews went out with the injury last year, Likely was balling. And then they brought Mark Andrews back for, the AFC Championship game? And, yeah, we know. Anyway, he said, I have no idea why they keep trying to feature Mark Andrews as the best tight end on the team. It's time to move on. I'm confident that Baltimore will be able to find another tight end in the draft. As long as Ozzie is around, he was a great tight end, and he knows what those guys look like. For free agency, well, let's start right there. So, yeah, Ravens do a pretty good job when it comes to tight ends. When you think about guys that they've had over the years, you think about Shannon Sharpe. Well, they didn't draft Shannon Sharpe, though, but guys that they drafted at tight end. They've had guys like Ed Dixon, Dennis Pitta. Ed Dixon got drafted before Dennis Pitta, too. They've had Hayden Hurst, and he was a baller when he was here, to me. He was doing his thing. Obviously, Mark Andrews, Todd Heap. So, yeah, and then now Isaiah Likely added to the mix. So, yeah, Ravens know what they're doing there. They've had some misses now, too, though. But anyway, he said, for free agency, just throw Darius Slay and Tyler Lockett to Jersey, because I would be surprised if they are not on the team. With Darius Slay, it seemed like he was headed to the Steelers, but then I read something last night that said that he is still technically on the Eagles, so they would have to agree to a trade with him. So we'll see what happens with that. Tyler Lockett, I would not be surprised if Ravens sign him. When we did a video about DK Metcalf, we said that the Ravens, they ain't getting no DK Metcalf. We would like for them to, but we knew they wasn't going to get him. But Tyler Lockett just fits what they love so much. He would not go against the comp pick formula. You would not have to pay him a bunch of money. He was having a couple of down years, and then he got cut. So, that would be a very Raven guy. He said it would fill a need, not a splash. I will be upset if the Ravens keep Mark Andrews on the team because they feel beholden to make him the number one tight end when we all see it's likely. And Mark Andrews still a baller now. He's for sure still a baller. But, yeah, we're going to know what they do with him by March 20th. I know that seems like it's a little ways away, but it's really right around the corner. He said, sorry for the long message, and like every team will be at the end of the season as we hold the Lombardi and celebrate. Hopefully. But he said, I am out.